Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Locked On Seminoles, where we are going to take a trip down memory lane and see if when 2012 David Weiss said, "I will trade as many losing seasons as it takes for a national championship." Well, we'll see if that still holds true now that we've got a national championship and a lot of losing seasons. We got a great show for y'all, folks. I'm Max, that's Dave. Let's roll the video and let's get started.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, man. So we've got a fun one today, Dave. Folks, It is the off season. We bring you great content about Florida State every day. Yesterday, we talked NIL. This Friday, I am excited to announce we will be dropping our interview with the one, the only former Pittsburgh Steeler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and former Florida State great, Bryant McFadden. I got to sit down with him last week, talk about the state of the team right now, talk about how he views the program, and what he thinks we need to do to improve. That's dropping Friday. But today we're going to have a little bit of a different conversation. Yeah. Dave and I were sitting around pre-production, and here's how this started. I asked, how different is it being a Florida State fan now versus like 2014, 2015 emotionally? Because there was a lot that was different. But when I think back, like, the emotional roller coaster that team sent us on, I don't know if I week to week felt that much different, because back then, if we didn't win by 20, it felt like we lost, right? So it was just like, it was horrible. And we didn't appreciate what we had, I feel like, when we had it, because when I think back to like the offseason though, after 2014, even after 15 and 16, the difference was that while week to week I was disappointed if we didn't win by enough, or, if we weren't winning a championship, outwardly there wasn't like the ridicule, because outwardly we had still lost like 2 games in 3 years, or 4 games at one point in 5 years, and we were still a national powerhouse.
Yeah, the difference was active mania, game to game, quarter to quarter, play to play, versus I'm just kind of numb now, which I think is way sadder, right? Like, yeah, I just want to feel again.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like when the team's really good, like it's almost more stressful than when we're not, because you don't have that numbness. Like everything is on the line every week. Back then, if we lost one game, when we lost to Georgia Tech, that was it. We weren't going to go to the playoff that year.
Yep.
We hadn't lost to Clemson yet, but it was like, 2 full seasons leading up to this of like, maybe this is the year we'll get back to the playoff this year. Like, that dagger just went right in the chest, and it was so painful. Now you lose, it's like,
what else is new?
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, I don't enjoy it by any means. But the difference was there was so much more optimism and hope between seasons, right, than there is right now. So before we have this conversation, though, I do want to thank everyone listening on the pod, listening on YouTube. I love the outpouring of support in the comments. We got some folks that aren't necessarily Florida State fans, but come by. We appreciate y'all, and we hope that you keep coming by. Mailbag Mondays, the mailbag's getting more and more full. Feel free to drop a comment down below on YouTube. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. But, if you don't have time to like, if you don't have time to subscribe, just keep coming back. We like to make your day a little bit better, because doing this makes our days a little bit better. So, people helping people.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, I will let you present the basis of this. What did you say in 2012 that while we were having that conversation, you said, I said this, and I don't know if I feel that way anymore. What was the statement?
I made a comment that I would trade any number of losing seasons. I mean, like within reason, like a decade or 2, like Auburn does
within reason, 2 decades. Okay, well,
not like Tennessee and Nebraska where they haven't been good in like 80 years. Within reason, trading as much suckage as God wants to put on us for a national championship. We got that national championship, and we have now gotten 6 years of just about as bad as Florida State football can possibly get nowadays in modern times, right?
Charlotte starts kindergarten in August, and we have one bowl game during her lifetime. So,
yeah, it's not. It can't get much worse. I listen. There's good news.
You know, we got to blame someone. I mean,
let's not get there yet.
I'm just saying there is a positive correlation.
It's possible. Thanks, Charlotte.
You know, and us losing. Just
there's a silver lining here to all of this. This whole conversation is underlined by the fact that it can't get worse, guys. I'm confident that this is as bad as Florida State football can possibly get. Right now, you're in it. So the sky's the limit from here. But it makes me revisit the question in the first place. Would we trade another, say we get 5 more years. If I made you this offer, I'll give you have 5 more years of this. Does not get better for 5 more years. But then suddenly we become Auburn and win a national championship and then go right back to another 10 years of this. Are you taking that?
No, God, no. If I didn't think we were going to go down the Auburn route. I mean, and look, no disrespect. I mean, lots of disrespect.
Plenty.
But Auburn is like the most streaky team in the world, right? Like they are just the classic, you know what? They played for 2 championships and they were 1 SEC championship win against Georgia away from playing in a third or making a playoff appearance. But then they have years where they've also fired 2 head coaches in that time for being bad. And you're like, well, what the hell's going on?
You go from that to that, right? But that's how we are right now. It feels we're closer to that than Tennessee.
But no, I thought, you know, I'm looking more of like, was it worth it? Like if you had told me in 2013 that this was it, I would have made the trade. Looking back, would I rather have been like, we got to use a test case. So who's my analog, right? Like, would I rather have been Notre Dame since 2012?
Oh,
well, I think, but I mean, I think that's about it's kind of what we're talking about, right? Like,
it didn't know it for sure is
hump or be us since 2012. Same record. You don't have to be a Notre Dame fan. We're not gonna make you switch fandoms, but I'm serious. Like if I right now said, hey, you can switch records with Notre Dame, 2 playoff appearances, a BCS National Championship appearance, you get blown out in all of them, but you also, you know, they had that 1 4-loss season, but you also never really lose more than 3 games. You're always on national TV. You're a national brand still. Would you take it?
You know what's funny? The answer to me is an obvious yes. I do not envy being a team that's known and will for a long, possibly forever, be known as the team that just can't get over the hump. Like always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
You're saying you wouldn't take it then?
No, man. I will take the championship and just like Florida State's down. Not that like Notre Dame's not down when they don't win a playoff. That's just they don't win playoffs. They get there, they don't win them. I'd rather be the team that like, yeah, like, look, this is just a shitty time for Florida State, but we know what they can do when they're good. They can win it. Can Notre Dame in modern football? I legitimately have no idea.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we got to that point because, frankly, that's how I feel too. Look, I'm the kind of guy where if, you know, I need a safe bogey to win the match and I got to carry some water to get on the green, and carrying the water on the green is going to give me a chance for birdie, I'm going to fire it at the pin every time. Like, I like to win championships.